I'd like to call to order the meeting of Monday, October the 28th. If you'd like to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Haremza.
Here.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Mosherak.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Here.
Mayor Rep.
Here. You have the minutes from the regular meeting of October 14th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved. Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any changes to the minutes? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes stand as submitted. We'll move on to presentations.
Presentations on safe streets recognizing Southeast Michigan's Council of Governments Slow Down, Support Safe Streets campaign.
Okay, this is just a brief little presentation. Actually, for those that don't know, I'm immediate past chair of SEMCOG, which is Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments. And they're championing a transportation safety with the launch of Safe Streets Transportation Safety Education Blitz that starts today and goes for through, I believe it's November 7th, if I'm not mistaken. The goal being to reduce traffic crashes, especially those resulting in fatalities and serious injuries, as decreased daylight makes roads less safe for vulnerable users like pedestrians and cyclists. So they've just asked if we would show these two little videos and encourage people to be safe. And certainly if you are interested in any of the tips or any of the information, you can go out to SEMCOG, which is semcog.org, online and look for those things. So we're just going to show a couple of quick little videos.
Own party, hurry up. Ah, do not cut me off, Miss Herfel. You kidding me? Honk, honk, honk. I'm late. Out of my way. Honk. I hate construction. Ah.
You wouldn't act this way in a store, so don't act this way on the road. Driving slower saves lives.
Does anybody recognize themselves?
When you're driving and you approach a person riding a bike, leave at least 3 feet when passing. If you can't pass safely, slow down and wait until you have time and space to pass. Be kind and keep everyone safe. Leave at least 3 feet. It's the law. Learn more at safestreetsmi.org.
That's just an example of a couple of videos, but certainly if you're interested, go out on that website and look. They're, just cute little videos, but it's a reminder for us to stay safe. Thank you, and we'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening? Please come forward with your name, where you're from, and 4 minutes.
Greetings, I'm Patrick Patterson. I'm from BW Rock. I live at 1637 Lion Street. On behalf of BW Rock, we want to extend a heartfelt gratitude for your previous support of our organization. Your dedication and commitment to our cause have made a significant difference, and we are incredibly appreciative of the positive impact your backing has had on our efforts. With your support, this year alone, we've had over 5,000 phone calls for help or the continuation of help. We've delivered over 3,200 transportations with the van you helped us purchase a few years ago. We've recovery coached 242 people so far year to date. We have 17 support groups, about 275 people that come through our doors per week. So we are extremely grateful for your previous support. With your support, it's also inspiring to have leaders like you who genuinely care about the well-being of our community and are willing to stand by us to make a difference. Thank you once again for your support, guidance, and previous partnership and consideration for future partnership. We look forward to continue working together to build a stronger, more vibrant community for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the city council this evening? Please come forward. You have 4 minutes.
My name is Randall Redlowsk. I'm 4125 Dove Road. I just came out here to support removing the fluoride from the water, like really well known. Support the InfoWar and the show getting shut down. Bought the sponsorship shirt and sponsored Alex Jones some money for his legal battle with the fake court, them trying to sue him over fake stuff. But I'm still going to support him wherever he goes, trying to take down this platform, but he'll be back on. That's the real news, not the fake news. He's getting sued for over $1 billion for not even telling a lie. They made up a lie and said he said something, but, you know, they want to talk about disinformation and going after those people. Let's go after that. Let's follow the science. Let's go after the people putting out the disinformation, and it's the government. And we've been given disinformation for a long time, and these people need to be removed from power. They have like a globalist death cult. I'm for Donald Trump and RFK Jr. Let's make America healthy again, which is like the first step. It's clean water. And not only should we be taking the fluoride out of the water, which isn't even fluoride, it's hydrofluorosilicic acid, industrial farm waste. But, you know, we have all this water here, and being Port Huron is a business. You know, we could make our city, our county super wealthy just by having the cleanest water. You could just run in reverse osmosis filters, huge ones, selling just clean, pure water from here. But instead, you guys deal out poison out of here, stuff that nobody wants. You don't even want to shower in it. You know, we have all this access to all this water, and the city could make money. Instead, the city and the county and whoever owns all this, technically their stocks or whatever, they're the ones that should be like sued out of it and put in jail. And whoever keeps putting the fluoride in the water, you guys are following criminal orders. If you keep doing it, like I'm for all these people going to prison forever for crimes against humanity. You know, big punishments, Nuremberg 2.0. And you guys should all be able to see this, and it's time for you guys to like jump ship. It's the perfect time for you. Everything's out in the open. You know, you know, there's a lot of people with you. Just jump ship. You guys should be just like, you know, I don't know what orders you are to put the fluoride in the water, but like, you should immediately be going down there after this meeting, like, hey, just quit putting it in the water. You know, it's poison. Everybody's gonna have your back if you do something like that. But you're gonna find out people won't have your back if you keep poisoning them. When people really wake up and realize that you're poisoning them, you know, I'm just for the party of life, team humanity. You know, Kamala Harris, they want to make you stop eating beef, and everything they do is just, you know, against life. She's bought and sold and paid for. Don't believe it if they say they won. And that's about it. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Julian Ruck, 750 15th Street. So when COVID hit and I had all the free time, unemployment because I was working at Cheap Charlie's, they closed down, I had all that time, and I was looking at what I could do to help my community. It is my community. I'm 45 years old. I've spent 25 years of it living in Port Huron. People like to treat me like I'm some kind of intruder or outsider, but I am of this community. I decided the best I could offer, though my biggest successes were with music and live music events and touring and putting on shows, couldn't during COVID, would be to share my advanced knowledge of how to grow one's own food in people's backyards here. Most backyards in Port Huron could sustain a value of about $1,000 a month in produce, if only the people knew how. So I set out to end food insecurity permanently in Port Huron as soon as possible. Nowhere in that is so long as James Freed is cool with it. Nowhere in that is so long as each and every city council member is cool with it. As soon as possible. 36.3% of kids in Port Huron live in poverty. I don't know how long it's been since any of you have been a hungry kid, but if you're a 10, 12-year-old in Port Huron and you're malnourished and you want a salad, good luck. How long has it been since you wondered how you were going to feed your kids? Because in the time I was gone this past month in Kentucky, I posted about available harvest at our garden at Ullenbrooks, where I wasn't even on site. Just posted, come help yourself. In the community, hundreds of people on social media responded in support and excitement over it. Over 600-700 people, dozens of people accessed it, local restaurants accessed it. People told me they were canning and preserving off the stuff they got out of it. And one thing you should consider, it's really important. 95% of the respondents to my post on social media, of the hundreds that responded, were women. Women tagging their sisters, tagging their mothers, going with them to the garden. So when I say I don't really give a shit what a man has to say about the gardens I'm putting in, that's because the men in this community are not trying to make sure their families have nutritious meals. They're maybe cutting a check, paying for it, but they don't know that struggle the way the women do. I could have done so much more in these past 5 years and could still do more. The only hindrance is James Freed. You've bet your careers on him.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? Please come forward, give us your name and where you live, and you have 4 minutes.
Jim Soto, 814 Lakeview Avenue. I just want to address the SEMCOG video. There's a fair amount of research out there that public education campaigns don't really work to reduce traffic crashes. There's some successes, but not all that much. They don't work that well. What really works well is infrastructure changes. Real infrastructure changes, separated bike lanes, curb bump outs, busy visual fields, and I'd like to point out that you have a wonderful model to follow, and it is the area in front of McMorran, between McMorran and the Transit Center. That's what's needed all over the city, and in particular, the little beg buttons that you put in, those are great for ADA compliance. I'm not going to lie, those are great for that. But they don't slow cars down. They don't slow drivers down. What you need to do is create little pinch points Those little pinch points shorten the crossing distance and crossing time for pedestrians. They force drivers to slow down. We need those all over the city, not just in downtown. I'm tired, personally, I am tired of taking my life in my own hands, trying to cross Gratiot to go to the party store and get a six-pack of beer. That shouldn't be a death sentence. Infrastructure changes. Use that model that's in front of McMorran. It is wonderful. Whoever designed that, they need to be bronzed. It is so good. That's what needs to be done, not plan videos. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Brian Farquhar, 19th Avenue, City of Port Huron. I'd like to thank you all, at least the 3 of you, 4 of you that are, 5 of you actually that are running, even though Mrs. Ashford, you'll be here next month, no matter how the election comes out, for your time. What I've learned in the last few months is it's very time consuming, and you get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of contact with public people. So it's been nice to get out and kind of be part of this. It's also unfortunate that, probability says it's a 1 in 3 shot that, this actually stays sitting the same way it is right now. And those aren't very good odds for any of us, right? At the end of the day. So, it's been humbling, honoring. It's been very prideful, and going on from, whatever happens November on. I'm proud to be a citizen of Port Huron, and if I'm sitting on that end of the table or this end of the table, you're still gonna get my opinions, my input, the rest of it. It is unfortunate that I've heard that there has been some backlash to some other members of the community because of their supporting some candidates or others. And there's been some emails written to their bosses, and they're actually concerned about their employment. And these are people that are, have actually done really well in the community and actually worked really good with us. And I'm not gonna name that person out if they wanna bring their concerns to you, but that's really not in the place of a city manager, Mr. Freed, as it's not in the place to make a phone call and chastise somebody for what they say about you. If you want to have the conversation, I'll be available after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Madam Mayor, I have never sent an email regarding any candidate to anyone at any time. That is a false statement.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak before the City Council this evening? Seeing no one, I'll declare public comment closed. Before we move on, because this has come up several times about the water, I wonder if you could have Eric Witter, our city engineer, speak to the fact that our water is safe.
Eric would love to speak to that.
But
while Eric's coming down, one of the things I want to address is, I think the mayor and I met with SEMCOG engineers and a team of pedestrian and traffic safety specialists this past week.
Yes.
The mayor invited a crew of engineers up to walk downtown. We met with our engineering team, head of our transportation division, to look at ways. What Mr. Soto said is correct. We need design changes in infrastructure. The issue is it costs a lot of money to do so. The mayor brought in SEMCOG because they are the fiduciaries of federal grants for traffic safety grants and of the Office of Highway Safety for intersections and crossings to bring in federal funds to make them safer. They are going to be meeting with our TSC, our Traffic Safety Committee, about doing some pedestrian safety and bike safety. 10th Ave is a very dangerous roadway for biking. I bike every morning, 16 miles, skip a few mornings, but getting up 24th Street and getting across Water Street is a little scary. And so we do have these experts coming in with not just advice on what can be changed, but also federal funding to make it happen. They have the administrators of the grants. So I appreciate the mayor inviting them to tour the community. We have a meeting with them, I think, later on this month or next month
This month, yeah.
on some of the problem areas. They're going to be meeting with the Southside Initiative to look at some of the safety concerns down there and to apply for, the grants are for targeted areas, so they're targeted streets and whatnot. So we're hopefully going to get them a list and use some of those federal funds.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Regarding the drinking water, City of Port Huron prides himself in providing safe, clean drinking water to the residents in the townships we serve. Fluoride is added to our water. It's regulated by the EPA, and we're within the guidelines there, so it's not a requirement, but it is added to the drinking water based on the guidelines set by the EPA.
Is there anyone on council who has any questions for Mr. Witter? Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. We're going to move on with it. I'm sorry, sir, you're done with your comment. Okay, we're moving on with our agenda, and it's from the city manager, number 1.
Consent.
Consent.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did miss the consent, didn't I? Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and Councilmember Mosrak, and we will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes, items on the consent agenda adopted, this updated city's Title VI non-discrimination plan as required in order to receive federal and state funding. Approve the grant agreement with the Michigan Arts and Culture Council to receive grant funding in the amount of $14,000 for the purchase and installation of a video wall within the McMorran Place Theater and authorizing a $22,000 local match. Confirm the mayor's reappointment of Leslie Bailey Leonard to the Southside Neighborhood Improvement Authority with a term to expire October 23rd, 2028, and the appointment of Dennis Regan to fill a vacancy on the board with a term to expire October 23rd, 2028. And we will move now to, from the city manager, number 1.
Accepting the bid from Trojan Development Company Incorporated in the amount of $198,000 for the rebuild of the high lift service pump number 2 at the water filtration plant.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Madam Mayor and Council, this is to rebuild pump number 2 as it's overheating and the bearings are shot. As you may recall, in 2021, we rebuilt pump 1 and 3. And so this rebuilding pump 2. Pump 4 is actually original to the plan as well, but that's operating in stable condition, so there's no need to be there. So this is just making sure we don't want to wait till crisis mode to get this pump rehabilitated. And it is original to the plan.
And it was expected, I'm
Yes.
sure?
Yep, budget item. We budgeted 200,000, it came in at 198.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Any questions?
Yes, Mayor. So is this, how many times have we rebuilt it?
This one, it's original to the, it's original to the plan.
This is the original? Oh,
Yep,
okay.
we did build 1 and, there's 4, so 1 and 3 got rebuilt in 2021.
Okay.
Now this one needs to be rebuilt, but number 4, the last one, it's still operating in stable condition, so we don't need to do anything right now, but eventually we will.
And why wouldn't we buy a new one if we had to?
The
How much
cost.
was that, the cost?
The cost, when they rebuild them, they're essentially new.
I just asked for the variance of it, so people would know we're building. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion?
Mayor Rapp,
Yes, Mayor
what
Pro
is,
Tem
what is
Archibald.
the expected lifespan after the rebuild?
Well, this one's original to the plant, so probably 20 to 30 years.
Thank you.
Anything else? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes, under resolutions, number 1.
Approving the request from Blue Water Recovery and Outreach Center in the amount of $156,000 from the city's opioid settlement fund to support daily operations at their center.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Councilmember Mosrak, supported by Councilmember Ashford. And do you want to just talk a little bit about the settlement funds? even
Yes.
though We know no, the public
Yep,
doesn't
absolutely.
necessarily.
Madam Mayor and Council and the community, as you all know, the nation was gripped by an opioid epidemic. Pharmaceutical companies and the distributors of the opioids were sued in a class action lawsuit. and we joined the Michigan Attorney General's office in taking a settlement. The Attorney General essentially negotiated a settlement, and we had the option: do we want to partner with that settlement or sue all the drug companies ourselves? Unlikely that we would be equally as successful as the Attorney General's office, so we partnered to go in with the Attorney General's negotiated settlement. To date, we have received $264,571.37 in opioid settlement funds to date. We have expensed already $101,872 to BW Rock for their recovery programs, their peer recoveries, and their coaches, and really helping people. As of today, the current opioid settlement cash on hand, because we have more funding rolling in, we don't get it all at once, it rolls in. We have about $162,770.65. It is estimated that over the course up until 2038, in total, we will receive about $653,177.65. The BW Rock proposal you have before you tonight is for $156,000 for another year of continuation of their current levels of staffing. This is important because, like other organizations who receive state and federal aid or Medicare payments or Medicaid payments or insurance payments, the model BW Rock has is so new, only in the last couple of years, because it was birthed out of the need for this type of programs. The program hasn't kept up, so there's no really sustainable funding source for them. They've been really aggressive in getting state grants to help them. They have a state grant that they're going to get in the spring of 2025, which should make them more financially resilient. But this is really going to help them keep their programs going, because really no one else in our community is doing what they do. If you have a loved one that's in recovery and they're in your basement and someone needs to talk to them, they'll send someone. If you want to call and get information, they're the group that's a clearinghouse for that information. The payments coming in on an annual basis, meaning we're getting about $100,000 to $100,000 a year, are allowing BW Rock to continue serving those in recovery and seeking recovery. Other communities have used these allotments to subsidize capital purchases within their general fund, meaning this $707,000, we could have taken that, and I could have brought a proposal to buy new laptops for the patrol cars, or to buy new computers or cameras or radios for the police department, or whatever it is to supplant the general fund. That's what a lot of communities are doing. However, I don't think that's the intent of the money. The money is to address the human need, the human impact on what the opioid epidemic has to help individuals and their families. So we have intentionally not used this money to supplant our own operating budget, but we've given it out in the community where the closest to the human need is, and BW Rock is that clearinghouse. So that is the reason why we're not buying equipment like other agencies are, even in our own county. If you trace the money in our county of where the opioid money is going to, a lot of it is not going to the individuals and families in need. It's going to supplant other people's general fund budgets. That's not the intent of the money. So I am proud that we're funding BW Rock. We've funded Dry Dock. We've funded a lot of really boots in the ground, closest to the families, and this is a continuation of that. And hopefully, in the next couple of years, the feds and the state will come through with a sustainable funding measure.
Any questions? I just want to say, I'll add to that you do a great job, great service for our community, so thank you very much.
I don't have any questions, but Mayor Rep, if I may. I've actually spent a lot of time in and around BW Rock, and the mayor is correct. They do not only a good job with the people that they serve, but it's like going over there like they have established their own community. I mean, people that you would normally see, struggling and wanting help from someone or whatever, well, they're there. And to the point of, how I'm glad that we have this money available to us and coming to us, that we have a venue that we're doing that, we're providing that service. And you guys have made all kind of recognition. I hear on a state level where people are trying to model and wondering, well, what are they doing so right? And I think you heard about that and you got some certification behind that. And so you're worth every bit of this and more. And as far as other people doing what they do in other cities, I don't know how one size doesn't fit all. If they need something else to connect to make their projects or whatever they're doing greater than, happy to them, happy for them. But you guys, I mean, if I can just be arcade here, you're just off the hook at what you do. And the faces and the families, I just don't see grown people going through it. I see people being with family, the little kids are coming in. So that's making a difference for us here in the city of Port Huron. We all are not fortunate to be what others can be in terms of lifespan and their behavior, but we're here to help in any way, in every way we can. So congratulations to all of you for, not just walking the walk, but you're doing it. You're exemplifying everything, Patrick and the rest of you guys. So thank you.
Is there any other comments?
Mayor Rapp,
Yes.
I'm happy to see we're putting the money back where the need is instead of using it elsewhere. I think it's the appropriate thing to do. That's what the money is there for, and putting it out into the community to help those families and individuals in need is the right thing to do. And I appreciate the fact that you do a great job, but also that we're doing this on a yearly basis, where we're not just saying, well, it's going to come in until 2038 and it's just all going to you. We've left that window open if others qualify. I don't know that there are any, but if they do, we've left it open for them. But more so, we keep you accountable by having to come back every year, and we appreciate that you're willing to do that. So thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I could add, before we ever give money to any organization, a subrecipient grant agreement is issued, but it's also trust but verify. So, we closely looked at the governance of BW Rock. They have an executive board of business and distinguished leaders throughout the community. They are audited, which we get audited numbers, and so they're fine folks, but we also audit them and have an independent executive board that provides them oversight in addition to the audit. So there are those internal control measures as well. That's very important when you're giving away in dollars and taxpayer money, that it's audited and accounted for. And we have now done this for 3 years with BW Rock and not had a single issue accounting for where the money goes, and the transparency. Anything I ask for, I get. And that type of transparency and accountability really does breed credibility. So thank you for that.
Anybody else? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Hurenza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. We will move on. Resolution number 5.
Authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Environmental Protection Agency's Community Change Grant for the purpose of collaborating with the Port Huron Area School District, the YMCA of the Blue Water Area, and Kaboom to seek grant funds for the design and installation of new play features in environmental educational events at 5 eligible elementary schools and within Lincoln Park.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Mosherak, and we have
Real quick before she gets started, one of the things I learned when I was in my previous community is I was updating the Parks and Recreation Plan. And you have all the neighborhood schools within the neighborhoods. And they're not city property, but those playgrounds and those schools are integral parts of their neighborhoods. We see artificial political boundaries. People who live in the community don't, and kids most definitely don't. They see a slide is a slide. It's not the school slide, it's not the city slide. There's a slide in the park. And so we can't look at our recreational assets without looking at the schools within the neighborhoods that are within walkability to a lot of homes. So with that said, I am really excited about what Nancy's going to present with Kaboom and this grant opportunity.
Mayor Rep, City Council, well, James just took everything I was going to say.
Oh, come on.
No, just kidding.
Yeah. Sit down, right?
But it is true, and I appreciate that that's the feeling of James and the council, that, our schools are where our kids are 90% of the day. And if you drive around, not even just in the city of Port Huron, but anywhere, you'll see that our schools' playgrounds are probably in the worst shape of any playgrounds. They're not up to specifications in many cases, and not just in Port Huron, but overall. And I think that's just because dollars are not dedicated to schools and play spaces. And, with everything going on in the world, our kids need to play more. So we were very excited when Kaboom came to us, their partner that did Optimus Park, which was, as you know, a community build that we did as a community, and they donated all the equipment there. they came to us with this opportunity through the EPA that they're giving $10 to $20 million in granting funds. So we talked to the school district, Cynthia, and Kim, sat down with them and said, you know, would you guys like to enter into a partnership where we look at innovative play spaces at the schools in the city of Port Huron? So that's the 5 schools that you see that are included in this grant, which would be Cleveland, Garfield, Crawl, Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, and then we've also included our own Lincoln Park. The other partner is the YMCA, and they would be helping in their regards of, like, they have a lot of their programming at these schools, so they would be helping, this would give them funding to do programming around climate, around nature. These will be looking at more like green schoolyards, playscapes, kind of bringing the natural nature flavor to each of the schools. A little different than what you've seen in some of the other parks, but again, just another innovative space for kids to play. So super excited that Kaboom came to us with this. They have the capacity and got a grant to write this humongous federal grant that's pretty complicated, so we're pretty glad that they picked Port Huron as their site to work with, and so we're just hoping and praying that we maybe have a chance to get some of these monies through the Fed.
What would the timing be?
Actually, it's a very quick turnaround. We heard today, what, 6 months, 2 months? 90 days, okay. There's the old memory not kicking. So 90 days we would have here already if we were one of the candidates for this grant.
Is it a community build still?
No,
Don't.
no, this one would be different. Kaboom would run this for us, engineering drawings, work with the school, work with community engagement at the schools, and then help us to do a lot of compliance after the fact.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, one of the things to add to that, we do not have the capacity to apply for this grant. It's a heavy lift, especially in the time frame, right? There's a reason why there's so much money available, because most people can't do it. So without Kaboom writing the grant and facilitating this process, we would never have been able to do it. With that said, Kaboom selected our community, and I have to believe it was because of the tremendous community turnout and support we had for the community build of Optimus Park. That really showed Kaboom how dedicated the city was to Parks and Recreation. So for all the residents who came out and volunteered to spread mulch and build that playground, it sent a very strong message. And sometimes we don't see the real fruits of the messages we send until several years later. This is one of those messages received, and I think that's why Kaboom selected our community.
And they were, you know, on the call today said, that kind of similar to what James said, but also that this, you know, we hope we get it, say our prayers, but if we don't, that this kind of sets us up too for them to know, you know, they have a lot more lobbyists than we have and different things in Washington. So, you know, we hope it's a good step in the right direction for our schools.
Very nice. Any questions from council?
Mayor Rep, I don't have a question, but just a quick comment on another subject. Nancy, thanks again so much to you, your staff, and your team for the play structures going up at Pine Grove Park. They're phenomenal. It's unbelievable. If you haven't been by to check them out, it's pretty incredible in how quick that's moving along. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate all your work.
And if you haven't noticed, Sanborn and Harrison are also in the process of, they should be done by the time the snow flies. So keep playing, Port Huron.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no questions, we will take the vote.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosher?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, that concludes our regular agenda announcements. Leaf pickup began last week, and we'll run through November 30th. But that being said, I wonder if you could address the fact that obviously last week there were not many leaves down, so what does that do to our program? For residents?
So yes, we pick the leaf schedule a year out, and the reason for that is because they have to rent the equipment, hire temporary staff, so we set a firm schedule. We use that schedule based on historical when leaves fall. And some years we're right, and some years we're wrong, and some years the leaves fall early, and my trees are still green, and sometimes they fall. So the last two years, I would say the leaves have been about 2 weeks behind schedule. This year we're about 2 weeks behind schedule, so they will most likely all fall in the same week, and then we'll have piles of leaves and overload trucks, and that's just how Mother Nature is. But we don't have the ability to say don't come this week because the leaves haven't fallen yet, because that contract is organized a year out for all the ramp up they have to do. So they will fall. They always do.
And we will continue to pick them up
We will
even past the date.
We will
Right.
continue to pick them up, yes.
Okay, just to assure everybody that they will get picked up. As well, tomorrow night is the Cops and Jocks fundraiser, and it's at City Flats at 5, is it?
4.
4 to 6, okay, I saw someplace where it was 5 and someplace where it was 4, so I just want to make sure it's from 4 to 6. So please attend that. They would love to have you there. It's a new location this year, being at City Flats, so we do have that. Is there anything else to come before the council? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Mosherak, and the meeting is